Oh my God! Don't, Jesus.
Well, then put your pants on.
No, my pants just keep falling down. Jesus, let me zip them up
They just
here.
keep melting
Let me
off.
Zip them up here. Okay.
That's a humdinger.
Yeah, crotch is glowing right now.
Well, it always does when
There's
I'm
a glow.
aroused.
For the listeners out there,
Put your
there's
pants on and wouldn't glow so much.
ambient light just flowing out of. I don't remember your name. I just met you.
I've been running so long that my heart just won't know. Like a cold winter wind bites right through your skin. In the dead of night, you could be my light. You're my sound of night in this frozen sky.
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
I wasn't talking.
All right. Okay. Oh yeah. We can't hear it when you nod.
This is the professional recording artist. He doesn't know how to do a mic check. That's
I
cool.
just sometimes forget how to make noise.
And the diaphragm is there, by the way.
It's not on both sides.
No.
No,
Yeah, it's on
you
both
have to
sides.
speak on the top of that
It's not.
microphone. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So you get the most on the top. Yeah.
No, you get the most on the side.
What if I just take this out? It's going into here. I can speak right into the cord.
No, because I thought the verbatim was on
Yeah,
top
yeah,
of the
yeah.
side, and that's the reason why it's there.
Listen, guys, I came here to talk about. I didn't come here to talk about. We're just. What are we talking about here? You know what? I mean, let's get to what we really want to talk about, and that's
CC Peniston.
we're gonna go see CC Peniston.
We're gonna see the sea.
CCC.
We are, and you know, it really made me think because another one of my favorite events that I go to is also takes place at Metro. It's Nocturna, and it's a goth event, and it made me think like, who the fuck am I? And I'm also this excited for CC Peniston. It made me think, and I think you'll
God, you're so special, man. I mean, you're just a special person. You know,
music really does shape. This is gonna sound fucking cookie cutter, but it shapes your life because like whatever music you listen to, those are the people you hang out with. We met from being in a punk band. That's how I met Vince. And so I feel like it's cool to be into a lot of different kind of music because it really does not only expands like your exposure to the music itself, but you just meet different. It's weird how different people are based on the music they listen to. It makes them really different. Their demeanor, like the way they, everything about them, their fashion, like there's all this other stuff that goes with the music you like.
well, when you get right down to it, we're just talking about vibrations. It's just vibrations operating in a different frequency. They're synchronizing with each other, and when a song is in tune, it's literally vibrations. So when you're talking about different people that are in the similar vibrations, then I guess it kind of makes sense. If you're talking about, and it's kind of weird if you start listening to music that you don't actually like, but you listen to a lot of it, you start to like it. So it's almost like you start operating at that frequency, even if you didn't really want to in the first place.
I
ever try
know
doing
what
that?
you mean. Yeah, I have. I've tried it with like
Yeah.
jazz and stuff.
Even Pitchfork this year, the headliner's Shaka Khan. Anybody can appreciate her.
Yeah.
Even though you wouldn't think she'd be in that kind of venue. And
No,
she's
I
a
love
headline. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, I really want to go to and just start a circle pit when Shaka Khan comes and starts singing I'm Every Woman. It was like, let's get the pit going.
No, it's great. And even if you don't appreciate her, here's someone's chance to start.
Because she's going to deliver, and she's going to deliver live, and just see a good live show. That's the reason why we're going to CC Peniston.
Yeah.
CC Peniston. We're trying not to say Peniston.
Chicago's the house place. This is the place. This is the city. This is it. And
Yeah.
all that.
Well, and then night is dedicated to Frankie Knuckles.
Yeah.
Frankie Knuckles,
rest
like
in
Frankie
peace.
Knuckles. Yeah. R.M.P. Frankie.
The godfather of house.
Real.
Gone and dead.
And she knows, and that's the reason why she's doing this, and that's why she's doing it at Pride, and that's the reason why there's going to probably be 1 million drag queens right there. We're going to be covered in glitter tonight. Yeah. She's performing at Pride. She's the Grand Marshal. Finally, we got a good one. Like, Chicago kind of sucks on Pride because we kind of like get like the runoff. Like, Chicago's like, oh, it's Mr. Leather 2011. I'm like, it's 2016. Like, what happened? What happened?
We couldn't
Like,
even
real
get 2015?
Well, even like I'm from St. Louis, and it's always funny because they always have like somebody like let's get somebody B-list. What is Morgan Fairchild doing? Like, really, was she that busy? She can do this? Let's get Lonnie Anderson. Come on.
Yeah, she could roll her
She
ass
could
out.
roll her ass out. Come on. Do it.
If I was ever, I don't know.
Give me a B-lister.
If you caught one break, we all have, all three of us here have something we're trying, like something we might have a shot at being recognized, even if it's just for a minute, where a big audience might know us. And if that ever happened to me, and I got invited 10 years from now to be somewhere like those people that used to be on the Real World. they're from Real World 4. They're gonna be here tonight
From Road Rules Challenge.
Yeah. I would go to anything I got invited to.
I have nothing against you if you have one hit.
It's hard to get one hit. It's hard to
Exactly.
get
I
one.
mean, there's nothing. I don't have one hit. Does anybody else have one hit? No, absolutely not.
When people talk about if it's an artist, if it's a movie star or whoever, and then they go, yeah, whatever happened to that guy?
Here
I'm
we
like,
go. I fucking hate that.
What do you
They're
want-
sitting. They're in Europe doing something fun.
Yeah, what are you doing? Whatever happened to you, dude?
They're in Japan filming commercials, sitting on a boatload of money that J Lo could never imagine.
I'll never forget.
Exactly.
I've exploded on someone a couple years ago because they're talking shit about Gin Blossoms, and Gin Blossoms is kind of doing the they had their like 4 really big hits from that album in the 90s, and then after that they started they kind of faded a little bit in popularity. Now they do like the state fairs or festivals like those kinds of things. The people know those songs so much and they love those fucking songs. And people want to be, they're still doing the old state fair. Oh, what are you doing? They're making like $20,000
Yeah,
a
exactly.
show. Well, I mean, and they made songs that people will always remember, and you want to talk shit about them because you have not done anything. What have you done? I don't.
And those artists have evolved and done. They've got married. They have kids, and they're supposed to get old, and they're supposed to be a retro act too. And there's not a goddamn thing wrong with that.
No.
I will respect anybody that still wants to go to a county fair and just sing that one hit that they had from 20 years ago.
I know.
Yeah.
Absolutely, so much more respect.
It's cool, and even if I don't like somebody's art, if I don't like the music, it does. I'm at a point now. I used to just get pissed off because in my mind I think they don't deserve to be famous. That sucks. Why can't I be famous? But actually, I'm happy for anybody who's able to escape fucking wage slavery, rat race. Anybody, even if I hate what you do, I'm glad to know that there are some people who have escaped it. And it's cool. It makes me happy to know, just imagining what it's like. I daydream about being famous all the time. I don't know. Have you guys ever done that? Like,
I've done it, yeah.
Yeah, just like
Life of Well of Fame, yeah.
yeah, just I have done that. Just imagine like walking out
One
on
of the
stage.
best concerts that I've ever been to was
1998.
really.
I was there with you.
Were we?
Yeah.
You guys didn't know each other, but
we were there, brothers in concert. This was the Venga Boys in 2000. Oh no! You cannot laugh. All right, so now you're laughing at it.
Wait, the Venga Boys are coming.
And this was in the UK, like in Norwich and at the University of East Anglia, and it was like the main concert venue on that side of like the east coast of England because there was no big cities really. And because it was such a huge college town that they did like, we're going to do like an LCR. It was called Lower Common Room, LCR, just like a bang out holiday party. And the Venga Boys were the big draw of the show. And people paid money to go and see them, and everybody was just kind of like crossing their arms and everything. And they like the Venga Boys turned down the music and were like, "Yeah, we know we're cheesy, we know we're shit, and we know we're from Germany, but we're just here to party and have a good time."
Yeah, really.
I've never been to a concert collectively where the entire audience just looked at each other and was like, "Why not?" And the highlight, like, I got so plastered, I saw one of my friends kick some dude in the balls, and then I blacked out.
Oh wow! It
Yeah.
must have been high
The
tension.
Venga bus is coming and coming.
Imagine somebody fucking fighting at a Venga Boys.
Yeah, for real. At a Venga Boys concert. Like, you would never expect it, but it was such a good time. Like,
That's
there was
awesome.
stage diving and everything. Like, once it was like, you know what? We're here. We're not full of shit.
Yeah.
I don't like it when people can't value the novelty in things. Like I would go.
Oh, yeah.
I
that
don't
drives me
like
nuts.
Obviously, I don't
Like,
fucking-
tonight would be one of those things. We saw somebody talking shit about CC Penis Town.
Nobody would do that though. No,
Nobody
I don't
would.
think so.
I think we're going to be
so.
surrounded by a million homosexuals that are going to
She's
respect.
too respectful.
Did you ever see Priscilla, Queen of the Desert?
No.
Oh, it's one of like I don't think it's a Baz Luhrmann movie, but it's on there like the weird like 90s Australian movies. Up there with Muriel's Wedding and everything.
I don't know anything that you just talked about.
Really?
Like,
You
not even
haven't seen
one
any
thing?
of these movies?
No.
Oh, they're so great. Like
They're
not-
moving pictures?
They are moving pictures that were
Yeah.
made in the 90s, and like Australia was kind of like how the UK, like in the 80s, they were doing like cheap movies that were getting nominated for Oscars. So was Australia like 10 years later. And Priscilla, Queen of the Desert was one of those, and Cece Peniston's Finally was like the big drag show moment, and there's like all these costumes. We will watch it online, and then you can actually be like, all right, this is why this is like such a gay ass
Online,
movie.
that's the internet, right?
That is the interwebs.
Okay.
So what do you do, Vince? So what makes you musically inclined? Why are you on the show
I've
today?
been doing music for a long time. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. I started. Well, let's see. That's how I met Frank. Is actually in it. Well, I
Tell
was
me the name of
singing
your
in the
punk
band, and Roscoe. We were Roscoe,
Yeah.
and that was like 15 fucking years ago now.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. I got kind of. It's hard being a band because people are hard to work with. So I started just, just making electronic music, ambient, and then trance, and
Cool.
then started getting into more of trance, like fast-paced dance music, and that's pretty much all what I'm doing. What I've been doing now is doing my own vocals, and then DJing, and then producing.
Right on. Cool.
For that.
That's kind of like how Frank probably got into the world of stand-up comedy, is that you can do your own fucking thing and you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about other people. The only thing
And-
you have to worry about is other comics, and as long as you're not producing a show, you don't give a flying fuck.
What about you?
I do comedy with
do you,
Frank.
Do you,
yeah.
do you stand up then too?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Man, I
we
have
both.
such a huge respect for stand-up.
I mean, I hope everybody does.
I don't think they really understand though, because there's
It's
a difference
hard.
between being funny and then being funny on stage and having people follow you through a joke or through a situation. Understand?
And to be on stage and actually
Yeah.
solicit, it's God, that
it's really tough.
yeah.
It's really tough.
yeah.
Do you smell?
No, I just burped.
He just snipped his own
I-
armpit.
I burped
For-
into
for
my
the-
armpit to make it
For the
smellier.
listeners out there,
Everybody
he's
likes their
smelling
own
his pits.
brand.
And now he's got his fingers up. Oh my God! Don't. Jesus.
Well, then
Oh
put your
my
pants
God.
on.
No, my pants just keep falling down. Jeez, let me zip them
They
up
just
here.
keep melting
Let me zip
off.
them up here. Zzz. Okay.
That's a humdinger.
Yeah, crotch is glowing right now.
Well, it always does when
There's
I'm
a glow for the listeners out there.
Put your
There's
pants on and wouldn't glow so much.
ambient light just flowing out of. I don't remember your name. I just met you.
Vinny, my name is Craig.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't. Okay, now I got it. I mean, I really didn't want to be.
This dude that I
Well-
just wandered into a studio with.
I think Dane Cook did an interview on Comedy Bang Bang a couple of years ago,
Okay.
and that's usually not the formula of that show. You know, it's they're just goofing around,
Yeah.
and just the word he was awful, and he was on Joe Rogan's show too. He was awful. I think he was on Comedy Bang Bang. I don't know. They were just talking about his personal experiences, and it was just gag worthy. The whole thing was like, God, just me so self-indulgent. You know, the whole thing is like.
At the same time, though, there's a lot of really good comedians, too, that kind of bite that bullet and they don't know how to deal with fame. And I think Dane Cook kind of fell into that as well. I'm not famous enough to point the finger. I don't know what your personal experience is, but, like, I'm just, like, trying to get my foot into the door of showbiz. And,
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's a pain in the ass. And you had a golden ticket. You were the golden child. And you kind of, like, all you had to do was just create something original. It's the reason why Dane Cook had that show called Tourgasm on HBO.
Yeah.
And it wasn't funny at all. I'm like, dude, you're doing like a couple of jokes and then you just are an asshole to your friends on the tour bus.
Yeah.
And I don't get that. You're trying to do like Jackass meets stand-up comedy where it didn't matter because we already had Jackass, and guess what? They got movie deals and they're all millionaires and they never had to ask like an MTV movie producer like, what do I need to do? They just went and did it.
Right. Yeah.
That's a respectability level. It was just kind of like a transparency that we could just see through. I'm just like, dude, all right, whatever.
It seems pretty around the board. Like, I mean,
Like, come at me.
when
like, whatever.
Dane Cook had a bunch of those first like specials out, and I mean, there was some funny shit, but I laughed at a lot of it. I mean, but a lot of it was like, oh, okay, it was pretty easy. Like,
It was
low
good physical
thing.
comedy. Absolutely.
But then after a while, his person, I mean, God, just after a while, man, it's like his personality is just awful. I don't fucking know. I
But
can't
does
do
that kind of comedy age very well?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
I don't
Like,
think his does.
his
no.
his
No.
didn't. Well, it's the same as Lisa Lampanelli. Hers didn't really age
True,
very well.
that's true.
Like, okay, you
Did
can only
just have a
yell
freak
the.
out?
Yeah,
What
she
happened
did.
with her?
Well, she had her stomach stapled, and she's very, very hungry.
We're not gonna waste airspace on Lisa fucking
Lisa
No, wait, I wanna
fucking
know what happened,
Lampanelli.
though.
I've
What
seen her
happened?
I'm
in.
surprised you guys went that far with Dane Cook.
Well, because we were just he was talking to me about like what it means to be a stand-up comedian, what it means to be a
You didn't say
successful
anything
stand-up
for
comedian.
15 minutes straight.
Because we have we know successful people that have stand-up comedian careers. Fucking Steven, we love you and we miss you. Come back on the goddamn podcast and give us a piece of the pie.
He'll be back.
He'll be
buy us-
crawling
He's
back.
not coming back.
He's gonna come back.
He ain't coming back.
He's coming back.
He ain't never coming back.
Well, shut up.
I like leaving the room because with you, I never.
You
By
never
the way,
know what you're walking back into.
yeah. But by the way, I never walk out of the room during a podcast unless you're here because I feel like anybody else, I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe Lindsay. I feel like I would trust Lindsay.
Lindsay's good at like carrying on and just like talking and
Yeah.
and that voice too. Her voice is gold.
Yeah, she's got the perfect
She's
voice.
got the perfect voice, just like that
I mean, we got some
raspy,
pretty
like
good voices too.
Yeah,
So you didn't trust
we got
me?
whatever we got.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
have trusted me?
I probably would. Well, I've known you
drone
though.
on?
Well, if you would put your damn pants on, Vince.
It just feels good to have the air of going, okay.
It does,
whatever.
but it's
So I got
fine
my
you have
pants
them
on.
off, but I don't know why you're doing this whole interview in downward dog yoga position. That
Rubbing
doesn't seem.
the taint till.
That you asked me to
Morning.
get in this position. It's
Yeah, it's
really
part of the-
uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. I didn't want to do this.
You
I didn't
saw-
want to do this, and you made me do this. All I
It's-
wanted to do is go on your podcast, and then you made.
Well, it is time to give a shout out to our unofficial sponsor, Chatterbait.
Chatterbait, I know you're listening.
Is anybody
Here.
chatterbaiting out there?
This,
Vince has a pair of meaty ass balls that you would toss coins
Just
at
fucking
online.
Look like raw ground beef.
Scientists believe that primitive man began walking upright almost 2 million years ago. It is probable that man began dancing around at the same point in time. This was likely to birdsong and pulsing, throbbing, tribalistic beats that burned in the heart of primitive man.
When I came in earlier, he was losing his mind because he owes a track to somebody and it's due like tonight, and we started talking about how difficult the music industry is for people.
Crossfades are probably the biggest bitch ever.
Well, there's the technical part, and then also just the demand, I guess, that you're asked of as an artist versus, the compensation. Even fucking Aerosmith isn't getting paid on Spotify.
No.
So-
well, like
Nobody is.
nobody is on
Nobody is,
Spotify.
yeah.
Nobody is. But nobody is anywhere unless you're doing shows. I mean, nobody is anywhere across the board. YouTube. What do you make a couple bucks? I mean, nobody.
The music audio recording industry is nothing led by a bunch of thieves that
It
are all
is-
still
well-
like super salty that Napster downfall their empires.
Yeah, it's true. That is
That's the
true.
reason
but
why I got iTunes giving 5 cents for every download that an artist makes.
I gotta say though, if you'll hear me out, I have a less than popular opinion on this, and this goes for all art across the board. As far as like music and comedy, those are the two things I will say. You have you're a signed artist. You're not just some dude. He has a record contract, and it's still hard. But I think this is good because I think, like you said, the music industry has belonged to a few greedy people, but the industry is becoming less relevant. The actual industry is becoming less relevant.
Considering that anybody with a computer can mix and record their own songs
can-
and be their own artist.
you can be
That's
your own
the reason
art-
why
yeah.
like SoundCloud rappers are a big thing now because they're doing their own shit.
Yeah, and you can also find that artist directly, and if you want, send them a fucking Patreon.
Exactly.
So I think this is good because bands like Aerosmith, bands like these huge, even Gin Blossoms, the level of fame and notoriety that they got, that type will never happen again, and it shouldn't. Honestly, I hear too many talented people too often to think that they all need to be as rich as Steven Tyler. The truth is, there's a lot of very talented people out there. There's too many that we can't have that many millionaires.
Can you perform live is really the big
Yeah, that's how
issue.
you earn your paycheck, and that's honestly how you should earn your paycheck, because the hours you spend in the studio, that should be compensated, obviously, but then what do you fucking cut a couple albums in your life? And there are people that when we were kids, they cut an album or two, and that's all they'll ever have to do for the rest of their lives. And I don't think that should have ever been the case in the first place.
It is an interesting way to look at it, but if you make a piece of art that is really, really good and people really, really like it, then maybe it is enough. Maybe it is.
The hours, I would say, like, our studio for comics is like an open mic that nobody's at. That's where you're working on.
Yeah.
So that's like a studio that this is all time of your life. You should, that's a lot of time and a lot of work. So of course you should get paid for that. But I think it was just, dude, fucking MC Hammer, remember? Come on. You don't, some of these people,
Do you have an entourage?
you just don't, to get that will never happen. That kind of fame will never happen again because exposure isn't as consolidated how it used to be. It was just radio and TV. Now we have DIYs. We have this. We have anything.
It branches out to so many ways.
Can we just have a life where we're just comfortable with making $75,000 a year, where we're just speaking into a microphone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be my dream. That's all I ask for. For real.
Well, to me, what I'm noticing with talented people, comics, musicians, it's becoming more of a blue collar thing where it is. It's a daily thing. And I think that there's enough talented people. That's probably how it should be. You know, I think that's how it should be. You should, great. What do you do for a living? Oh, I make art. Okay, cool. You do it every day, and okay, cool. Then that's fair. I'm starting to respect artists in a way that I think we should respect plumbers and these are people that are important to society. But the level of fame and notoriety it's not going to make sense in the future because with the internet, we're seeing
You really have to grind, and to add on to what you were saying, I know a lot of people that have been grinding it for a while, last couple of years, but they're not. They're good at certain aspects, like technical aspects, mixing or like actual production value, but they're not. I don't really know how to write a song, or they haven't like put a lot of time into like making a melody or anything. So people I think they spend their time on the wrong thing all the time too. They're not really that good at it. And I'm not saying I am or anything, but there's some people that are just not actually that good at it, and they're just pushing their head into a wall. They're not going to break through it.
They want to do a trend that they can be famous with. They're not doing it because they actually like music or they actually believe in what their project is. Yeah.
But I think for fellow artists, like for people who create shit, we can spot those people a mile away. Though we know those ones who are like trying to jump on a bandwagon and like like you could tell, like you can tell when it's really somebody's passion. Like I've seen it when people are doing stand up. I've seen it at shows, and then I can tell also when someone they're just trying to get.
Like, aren't we all trying to really make a career out of this and trying to be famous at one point and trying to make money and trying to...
We are, but...
be comfortable. I would be comfortable if somebody paid me $1 million. I'd be cool. I'd be totally cool. I would never try to capitalize so much more on that.
But I know you still get great joy out of being on a stage.
Yeah,
because
you know
so
me.
do you. Like, and just letting someone hear what you made. Like, when... I know those are the real people, and those are the ones who deserve.
This is my little baby joke. Go on, grow. Yeah. Is it a good one?
Yeah.
You grew. Yeah, same like a song. Like Vinny, you probably have like great songs that you like. I don't think anybody would like it, and then you release it out.
Here's a test I'll have you both do, and I feel like you're both gonna have the same result. Would you rather get paid $200 for your hour-long performance? That much money for your performance, and it's because it was agreed upon by the venue. You're getting paid, period. But the thing is, that night, you got your money, but nobody liked you. Fucking people were crossing their arms in the audience, and they were just like, okay, God, who is this guy? Or would you rather get paid nothing and have 25 people losing their minds while you performed?
25 people because I own the exclusive rights to my intellectual property. I don't think you can put up capital.
I don't like either one of those anymore.
There are really bad situations, but this is something that we, as artists, that we come across.
25 is small.
I've been playing to the void for a long time. We've all played to the void. We've all played to that empty fucking void, and it's fucking hard. And now within the last year, I've gotten like 25, and then like 50, whatever. It's the room. It's been small places, but the places have been pretty jam packed with people, and that feels cool. But like Man, how do you guys feel about that? Just playing to the. How long do you think you can play to the void? I mean, I don't know. I haven't been to one of the shows in a while, so like. But
you are speaking about every single open mic,
right?
like just like panhandle open mic that like I've been to, that Frank has probably been
And
to. Then you
I
were
still
just
do it all the
like-
time too.
Yeah,
I still play to
exactly.
the void. Nobody's
We're not
there.
exclusive.
One,
yeah.
two, to nobody, and then sometimes I get like, oh shit, if it's a bigger place, like bigger city that knows about trance, that they'll come out, but it's.
The void is 25 people who are there who,
If they're really into it,
who aren't into it, and they're just like, oh, that's all right.
yeah,
People who are really, you could tell they're really connecting with what you're doing.
yeah.
I don't know. We've played to the void, and maybe there was
Jesus.
one of those 25 people that were into it who complimented us after.
If
We know that feeling. We all do. 25 to me, if I did that consistently, that's okay. How many out of that 25 are going to follow you on social media now? Maybe 12. Pretty rewarding, but obviously getting paid for what you do, there's no feeling like that when you get that.
Especially when it's your own creative process and you created it.
Yeah.
That's the best.
You know what it's like being in job interviews. You know that stress. That's real stress. But imagine going to a job interview that you don't even want. Imagine how relieving that would. You're in control. You could say and do whatever you want.
Yeah, but I'd be stressed out if they gave me the fucking job and then I'd have to turn it down. That would stress me out.
They wouldn't give it.
Depending on what the skrill was. Like if they're like, oh, you asked for this salary, and they're like, oh, but we're gonna pay you like $2,000 more a year. I'm like, would that be like the biggest?
I always imagine going. Okay.
Whoops the doodles.
Imagine going to a job interview. You're wearing your suit. You're fine. You walk in. They're sitting at the desk. You walk into the room. You got your fucking suit on. You sit down. You nail the interview. You're everything that they dreamt of, and they offer you the position on the spot. And then you get up, shake hands. You get up and walk away, only to reveal that the back part of your suit is entirely missing. Imagine doing that. And then they already offered you the job. Now you're just going, and then here's my entire naked body from the back as I walk out. Too late. You're just now discovering this. You already offered me the
Yeah,
job.
but they can still fire you.
But
then they can
that's
fire
gonna be a
you.
fun interaction.
It
though.
will be a really. I'm like, no. Oh, whoops a daisy. Okay, sir, come back. Turn around. We got to tell you something. Sit down. No, don't. Okay, let's put a Kleenex right there. Okay, sit back down.
Let me ask you
Sir.
something. Let me ask you something, Frank. Where do you see yourself within the next 5 years? With all due respect, sir, I see myself sitting on the other side of this desk, on your side, actually, servicing you while you give interview people.
Sir, I know the call time to come in is 8 a.m. Can I come in at 9 a.m. because I take an extra hour of the day to dismember runaways in my apartment?
Well,
I don't run the bandsaw after 10 p.m. It's good.
Well, that's just friendly neighbor. That's, just
Exactly.
being
That's
friendly
courtesy.
neighbor. Right.
this
You
is
don't
a
need
good.
a
This is a good
dick.
pregame for CC Pennington. I'm pumped. This is the night
I'm all about the CCP.
we're gonna get.
That's
90s.
right, me too, guys. It's going to be a hell of a night, and I can't wait to get out there and see some of those 90s classics. What about you, Greg?
I'm going to go and I'm going to way back go to the Love Shack.
74 degrees out there, folks. Make sure you bundle up. Could be some rain later on tonight. Bring an umbrella if you're going out, and traffic.
And avoid the Stevenson for all the traffic.
God, do you guys... You know what? It's funny is all these voices, they're kind of funny to do, but why is it if you're listening to a podcast, like just a normal podcast where it's two people talking about things or even like giving the news, like podcasts that are like news podcasts, why don't they talk like that anymore? And why do those other outlets, like the news, like the ABC News and the fucking Weather Channel, and they talk like this, and it's gonna be a great day out there? Why is it? Why is it? I noticed that one person does do it, and he's kind of a fucking dick, but He's kind of funny sometimes, but Steven Crowder does it. Steven Crowder talks
Yeah.
like that. So what does that
Yes.
say to you about his personality? He does that on
It
his
says
podcast.
he's full of shit.
He is a lot of full.
Well, then
he's
he's
full
also
of
been
shit.
trained for radio because they train these people in college to go
No,
and do this. For
but he
radio,
doesn't
don't
do
they?
radio. He does his own podcast.
He has a
But he's
voiceover
actually
background.
done like a voiceover background in like radio and broadcasting.
He was the
so that's what
brain
he
on
does.
Arthur.
I do
Yeah.
remember that though. Yeah.
Yeah.
You sent me that thing.
Well, I can speak to that specifically. I get turned down a lot of auditions I do because it sounds too announcery. You know, and it's changing because I think like smart creative directors, they want people that sound like real people now, and so people who
Because everybody listens to a podcast.
Yeah, everybody listens to podcasts and everybody
Who the
want-
hell listens to a radio station?
yeah, and if you've noticed, even YouTube ads, that it's like they make it look like it's some viral video.
Yeah.
And they
So-
want somebody that they can relate to, a listener that they can
Yeah,
relate to.
so I gotta say that's a dying breed. That guy.
The average age of the people that watch the news is like 70. Average. They don't have much time left.
Advertising is a big deal. And I think the reason why we don't have the hey everybody, I'm this guy
He's
is
a
gonna
dying breed. They're going away.
I think it died with Casey Kasem. Died with the Caser.
Here, this ties back into the music thing. For so many decades, forever, are used to content being literally fucking just sent to their house, to your house, and this is what you want content. Okay, here's what you get, motherfucker. That's all you get.
Yeah.
Now it's not. You can get anything anywhere. So we're changing being spoken at.
Yeah.
The audience doesn't want to be spoken at. They want to be spoken with.
You know what though? Okay, so there is something to be said about people are picking and they're actually able to choose where they get their information from. So you're not getting it from just one source, which is good. But if you just go on YouTube and just honestly look up Flat Earth and look up all these things that people are experts in, it's like, dude, man, I know so many people that just they're not dumb, they're just susceptible to falling into weird patterns. And
Sure,
then, you
but
know,
yeah,
Paying into being.
but
and these people are
to
not.
listening
These are
dumb.
not flat
Yeah.
Earth people.
That's
you know,
they're not smart, but that's besides the point. You prove my point because let's just say you are into the theory of flat Earth. The content is there. You type it in, it shows up. There was never a flat Earth program that came on at 10 o'clock p.m. that you could just tune into. So that's
Was
what
there
I'm
ever
saying.
not a
These are-
flat Earth
But this is
program?
not good information.
Yeah.
This is faulty
It
information.
doesn't matter.
It's completely faulty, and they're telling people that it's science.
You're telling me that television and radio only gave us real information this whole time? Is that what you're saying? Because what's the difference?
I say there's a difference
You're always
between-
going to have some bullshit. You heard from the great Craig Besand and Vince Schuld. This track's called Altered Nature. You can pick it up on Solarstone Presents Pure Trance 6 from Black Hole Recordings. Even if you're not too big on trance, there's a good chance you're going to like something Vince is doing. This guy's always pushing the envelope. Follow him at vinceschuld.com. This was Neon Voices. Goodbye.